We have not got a meeting scheduled. I met with them several months ago about this, laid out the criteria. I met every quarter. I just met 2 weeks ago with all 11 tribal leaders and walked them through the criteria. Really, for us, the more fruitful part of the meeting isn't to lay out the criteria. I already sat down with Chairman Korn and others at his site in Menominee and walked them through it. It'd be probably a few weeks into the future when they have some more detailed information as to how they're going to meet my 3 criteria.
It's pretty much a done deal. You're not going to, your criteria, there's no way the Potawatomi are going to support this, and it's
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I think that if I was the Forest County Potawatomi, there might be a way for them to consider that if they had some role. I mean, their complaint is similar to if you ask the county executive here in Milwaukee County, you ask Mayor Barrett in the city of Milwaukee, he's spoken out and said in Milwaukee they have a very real concern because the Potawatomi Bingo Casino is a major employer, a major philanthropic trust here in the city of Milwaukee, and they'd be very concerned whether it's in Kenosha or it's just across the state line. In northern Lake County, they'd be concerned about anything that took away from that site that would potentially cause people to be laid off and reduction of work here. By the same token, not only for the Menominee Nation in terms of being one of the most impoverished in the state as a tribal operation, but also in terms of Kenosha, where they're looking for a way to transform that former dog track into something that can have an economic impact. That's got to be part of the consideration. The reason I set that up wasn't specific to Kenosha. 2.5 years ago when I laid out the criteria, it was really because I knew that the other sites, you've got the Lac de Flamel talking about Shoalsburg, you've got the Ho-Chunk talking about Beloit, you've got any number of tribes talking about Sheboygan. For me, I set up a very clear criteria, 3-set criteria, because I said on the one specifically that comes to mind, on having consensus amongst the 11 tribal leaders, I said I'm not going to have these quarterly meetings, approve one and have one corner of the room upset with me and the other praising me, and that clouding our ability to get along on other things that are vitally important to all the people of the state of Wisconsin. So it is a high hurdle, no doubt, but I think it is a legitimate case to say if you've got multiple gaming operations in the state of Wisconsin, they should find a way to have some peace and consensus amongst all the tribes, not just on this site, but for any others in the future. If the Menominee, as part of their discussion, said, we know that you have concerns about this having an impact, particularly for customers that come from the Chicago, Northern Illinois market, we'd love to have your involvement, your expertise, your success already at the Milwaukee site be involved in some way there. That might be an option that would bring those parties together.
It's undeniable that Kenosha is a high-traffic area. It's a dog track. It should attract a lot of people. It's right off the freeway. There's a lot of pluses to that building.
Well, absolutely. And part of the equation, again, don't quote me as saying these are the factors. These are, I mean, you can quote me, but don't say this is the one factor. But these are all things that they're going to have to consider. I mean, one of the other things in this equation is, and I don't know the answer to this, is the Bureau of Indian Affairs going to consider approving any other operations south of the state line? And if I was either of those 2 entities, that might be a factor as well, saying, well, if there's going to be one, I'd rather be a partner with that than one across the line. So I don't have any special information about that. I just know that those, to me, would be the things I would consider.